Tonight on Ctv3 News, defense procurement scandal deepens as cabinet secretary is named director of paid company. Questions are raised over proposed transfer of police corps to transport ministry. Attorney General challenges Ombudsman FOI disclosure recommendation in court. And Cabinet Minister Michael Chabat says the financial controversies currently surrounding the government should not overshadow the work the administration has been carrying out across the country. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, July 17, 2026.
There's going to be 5 modules that we will be looking at. The first one would be the duties of traffic wardens, power of arrest, and the legislative amendments as it relates to DUI. The second module looks at report writing, and then we look at motorcycle helmets and its standards. On Wednesday, we look at the proper use of breathalyzers, and then we'll do some training related to that. On Thursday, we then look at electronic evidence as it relates to the changes in legislation and the use of the body cams and dash cams. And on Friday, of course, we'll be doing a simulation on a case file preparation.
Please remember, the rules are there for a reason. The regulations are there for a reason. It's not to bypass them. It's to ensure that you protect the citizens of Blaze.
We're not here to just teach you. We're also here to learn from you. You are the ones who are on the streets every day doing traffic enforcements. So you know what are the issues that affects you and should be able to guide us so that we can correct those issues.
At the beginning, it was a bit challenging because it sounded so good and so promising that I think people were reluctant in embracing the idea. But after 2 years in this NHI program, the perception of people and the usage of people for the services that we offer is very much appreciated. And the people are using all the services that we have. And our population has grown a lot. We actually have registered, and which, by the way, I have to mention this, we never expected to grow this fast. We are at 12,000 and plus registered patients with us right now. And the numbers are growing on a daily basis, I would say. For the general physicians and the specialists that include the gynecologist, the pediatrician, and the internist. And now we have a nutritionist, it's $2, which is very accessible to people. And when it comes to the laboratory or the images, it's just a 10% cost that they pay for the whole service that is offered. If we have a healthy community, then I would say that the whole country itself is going to benefit from it, because a healthy community is going to be successful economically as a whole. That is my vision of the NHI. It serves its purpose.
Today will be the inauguration of the backup water system. This will be able to assist the Pomona Water Board to expand, and if there's a breakdown with the current system, this can also be a backup. There are times when, especially in the dry season, when the current system might run low or might run dry, and that by itself creates a problem to fetch water. So we are hopeful that if this is not used as much right now, when the other system runs low, this will kick in.
We must ensure that people have access to clean, safe, potable water, just like everybody else across this country. What you see here today is an investment of over $160,000. It includes all the pipes that you see here. We also have other accessories. We have a backup generator. We have the solar system. And we also have a booster pump.
The most difficult part that hinders development is the access of water. We have reduced significantly the amount of people that were deprived from accessing a basic need such as water.
I am elated, very happy to be here, receiving the system. I think everybody would be very happy, very happy.
When we call it, we have no water, no nothing. That was an empty spot, but it's home now. They have a pipe right out there, so it's still okay, just that we had to reach up to get the water. I cannot wait to have it reach to our door.
Good evening. With your newscast, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Jaden Gamis. Fresh questions have emerged in the expanding Ministry of Defense procurement controversy after it was confirmed that Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie is a director of a company that received more than $85,000 in payments from the ministry over a 2-month period. Reports indicate that Leslie is listed as a director of RSL Group Limited, one of several companies identified in leaked procurement records that are now the subject of growing public scrutiny. The disclosure adds another layer to the ongoing controversy surrounding the ministry's procurement practices. At the center of the concerns is an apparent pattern of payments and invoices being processed below the $10,000 procurement threshold, raising questions about whether the transactions were deliberately structured to avoid additional oversight. Documents show that RSL Group received 7 identical payments of $6,941 on June 4th. The records also reveal a separate payment request valued at more than $49,000 that was still pending at the time the documents were compiled. So, what did RSL Group supply to the BDF? Records show that it was a variety of seasonings. The CABSEC has confirmed his association with RSL Group, but said he plays no role in the company's daily operations. He firmly denied any allegation that he used his office as Cabinet Secretary to influence or secure government contracts for the business. Leslie explained that RSL Group had initially participated in the government's procurement process, but was not selected. According to him, the Ministry of Defense later approached the company directly to provide the requested products. He also described RSL Group as a legitimate enterprise owned by a family he has known for many years, insisting that the company follow the appropriate procurement process before receiving the contracts. The latest revelation is expected to intensify calls for greater transparency and accountability as scrutiny over the Ministry of Defense's procurement practices continues. Cabinet Minister Michael Chabat says the financial controversies currently surrounding the government should not overshadow the work the administration has been carrying out across the country. Speaking to the media today about the happenings at the Ministry of Defense, Chabat acknowledged the ongoing scandals, but maintained that the government focus remains on delivering projects and services that benefit Belizeans. He said the administration has made significant progress in several key areas and believes those achievements will ultimately matter most to voters. Shivat also dismissed suggestions that the controversies could negatively affect the People's United Party's performance in the upcoming municipal elections. According to him, the electorate will judge the government based on its overall record and the development initiatives it has delivered during its term in office.
Um, Listen, the allegations being raised are very serious allegations, and they must be treated very seriously. Um, Public funds do require public accounting. There's no way of getting around that. And I think Cabinet and Prime Minister understands that. And I think we've now taken the necessary steps to make sure that this happens. So I have every faith in the process that we've undertaken. And I am sure that the Belizean people will see that and will understand the work that we have been trying to put in place. And let me tell you this. I don't think what is happening can define the work that this government has done. We have done tremendous work in terms of education, in terms of housing, in terms of healthcare. And so you need to look at the whole picture to tell the story of this government. And as I said before, these are serious allegations and they require a serious investigation. I think what you need to have are checks and balances, because at 10,000 or at 100,000, there can be abuses. And so what needs to be put in place are checks and balances.
The Office of the Attorney General is continuing its legal challenge against a recommendation issued by the Ombudsman Office regarding a Freedom of Information request filed by activist Jerry Enriquez. Mr. Enriquez had requested details on the legal fees paid to the senior attorneys retained by the government of Belize to defend its position in the constitutional challenge that sought to postpone the general elections until electoral redistricting was completed. The Ombudsman Office recommended that the request information be disclosed. However, the Attorney General's Office has challenged that recommendation in court. The matter came up for its first case management hearing earlier this week. Speaking on the ongoing case, the Attorney General defended the government's decision to contest the recommendation, stating that it has the legal right to challenge the findings of a constitutional office, even though the office of the Ombudsman is currently vacant.
That was as with most case management. What would occur? The court would give timelines as it relates to the filing, and in this particular case, the court gave timeline for the filing of affidavit in response. So this is a appeal that was made by the Attorney General Ministry with respect to a decision that was taken by the Ombudsman. That decision, and I need to state this, and so that this so as to disabuse persons from what has been actually said in the public. I know it has been said and much has been made of the fact that, well, how the state want to challenge a constitutional office, there's nothing. Well, first of all, the rule of law, that's a part of a constituent part of democracy. What that means simply is that every single office holder, whether it be the Prime Minister, whether it be the Ombudsman, whether it be a judge, that they must, in exercising their functions and duty, they must comply with the dictates of the law. And the purpose of us launching that review of the Ombudsman decision was so that the court could in fact indicate, which we believe wasn't the case, whether the Ombudsman actually operated fairly in coming to the decision that he came. We won't go into the specifics and the facts because the matter is before the court, but that is the essence and the rationale and the reason why the matter was challenged. Additionally, I need to point out that there's nothing new, there are precedents. So you've had, for instance, the state, the Attorney General, in two recent cases, they've actually challenged the decision of the Public Service Commission with respect to disciplinary actions, their decision with respect to disciplinary proceedings that have been taken against public officers. So, in summary, the the challenge by the Attorney General or by the state of another constitutional office is nothing new. It's something that part of the process of a constitutional democracy, which all persons, all office holders are held to account, and their decision can be questioned and challenged in a court of law.
While the case remains before the courts, the government of Belize has taken the first step toward filling the long vacant position of ombudsman by officially advertising the post. The vacancy was announced this week through the National Assembly's Facebook page, several months after the office became vacant. The recruitment comes as the Office of the Ombudsman prepares to transition into a national human rights institution. Speaking on the process, the AG explained that the transformation will not happen overnight, but will instead be carried out over the next 3 years.
As I had explained on last occasion, that is and was a commitment that was made by the government. Now, if you look at the vacancy indicates that it would be preferable if someone who's applying and the successful applicant would have knowledge and experience in that era. That MOU that was entered into with the Ombudsman Office and the European Union, it's a 3-year project. So the idea is that to have the new ombudsman, whoever that person is, will have courage and will continue to work to ensure that that office, the National Institute of Human Rights, that will be set up properly. And so that is why the request is made in the vacancy for persons who are applying for the job, and it'd be preferable that a person has such experience and knowledge and be able to help with facilitating and accelerating the process.
A proposed transfer involving a Belize Police Department corporal has sparked a public debate after documents surfaced showing the Ministry of Transport support for his move into a senior government position, prompting questions about whether the recruitment process was conducted fairly. At the center of the discussion is Police Corporal John Gamboa, who is reportedly being considered for the post of Assistant to the Deputy Chief Transport Officer Peter Williams. The scrutiny follows the emergence of a recommendation memorandum signed by Transport Chief Executive Officer Chester Williams, requesting that Gamboa be released from the Belize Police Department to join the ministry. The government memorandum, dated June 29, 2026, and addressed to the Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Home Affairs, seeks to support for Gamboa's transfer from the Security Services Commission to the Public Service Commission. It also requests that an in-depth assessment and 2 recent performance appraisal reports be submitted as part of the process. The leaked memorandum has fueled speculation over whether Gamboa's selection was based solely on his qualifications or whether his family's relationship with CEO Chester Williams may have played a role. Today, Williams dismissed those claims.
Gamboa, from my knowledge, is a very educated person. He's a go-getter. He holds a bachelor's degree in English. He also has an associate in English. He is currently a corporal in the Belize Police Department and an instructor at the academy here. He has also done extensive training with the military, so he's also a PTI and a certified PTI and other training courses. Again, I'm not going to delve too much into the application process. That's for CTO to discuss, because he is the one who sits on panel. I know we have a number of vacancies, and my instructions to the EO was ensure that we publish the vacancies for people to apply. The vacancies were published and applicants applied. I instructed the CTO and the EO to put together an interview panel to interview every applicant. They did that, and I now yield to him to explain that process.
When the vacancies went out. All members of the department were given an opportunity to apply for the different positions that we are looking for. We had open interviews for transport officers in the different districts. We had also opened positions for assistant chief transport officer, which would be a regional commander for our department in looking at different zones to carry out the functions, to make sure that they carry out their functions under the department's mandate. And Mr. John Gamboa was one of those applicants who applied for the assistant chief transport officer position. There were 2 applicants, and we have looked through the application, gone through the full interview process, and we believe that he's one of those persons who are fit for the position.
What's the timeline? When would he be appointed if he is chosen?
Well, that's a decision for the Ministry of Public Service, who then would give us that approval. So we have to wait on their time.
Why did you all need a new deputy?
The staff is increasing. There's a number of positions that are now being opened, and we do need overall supervision for everybody. It's impossible for one deputy to be able to deal with the entire staff as it is. So our objective is to look at a deputy from an administrative standpoint and a deputy from an enforcement standpoint.
As to the allegation that Peter Williams is slowly being chiseled out of the department, Williams says that statement holds no weight.
It's sad to see that when we're trying to improve the Department of Transport, not for ourselves, but for the public, we perform a public function. And I believe that when we are tasked with providing a public function, we ought to ensure that we do our best. We cannot have a situation where we have mediocrity. And we're striving for that. Peter Williams is very essential to the department. He has been there before Mr. Gentle. He has a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. I don't understand what would even cause someone to think that Mr. Williams is being tossed aside. How can we? We simply want to ensure that we do things that is going to enhance. He cannot be everywhere at the same time. He cannot be looking after administrative issues and enforcement issues. And that's the reason why the role of the deputy is being split, to ensure we have 2 deputies who can perform in the 2 different areas and they work together for the greater good of the department.
Coming up next, traffic enforcement gets a boost as 35 officers completed specialized training. Stay tuned.
Money travels fast, so make sure you check it before you spend it. Here are 4 easy ways to know your money is real. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Look closely at your note by holding it to the light to see the watermark and the note value. Notice how the see-through image completes itself perfectly. Feel for authenticity. Run your fingers over the raised portrait and the bars on the edges. 1 bar for the $2 and up to 6 bars for the $100. Tilt the note to see the hidden value appear. Look for the moving images on the security thread and holographic shimmer on higher denominations. Check closely. Use UV light or a magnifying glass to find hidden images and microtext. Remember, handling counterfeit money is illegal. If you spot a fake, report it to the police immediately. Look, feel, tilt, and check. Know your money. Check it before you spend it. A message from the Central Bank of Belize.
It's easy to sit at home and blame the government for crime. A lot of people do it. Politicians do it all the time. It's like a game. Gang members shooting each other or innocent citizens. Blame the government. Blame the police. Narco players executed because of a drug deal gone bad. Blame the government. Blame the police. Domestic violence turned fatal, same thing. Every murder, no matter where, no matter why, same blame game. But our children weren't born criminals. When did they become murderers? Who taught them their values? Who taught them about right and wrong? Where are their parents, their families? It's not too late to save your child. It's not too late to raise your child right. Keep them in school. Keep them off the streets. Teach them the value of hard work. Teach them honesty and integrity. Love them before it's too late. Stop the blame game and let's all be the village that raises our children. A message from the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Violence Prevention and Enforcement Unit.
El evento de fútbol más grande del mundo por fin llegó y Smart te invita a vivir toda la emoción del mundial. Antes de que empiece cada partido, predice quién se lleva la victoria. Entre más predicciones hagas, más oportunidades acumulas. Suma un punto cuando le aciertes al equipo ganador y si le atinas al marcador exacto, obtienes hasta 4 puntos. La persona con más puntos al terminar el mundial se lleva $2,500 en efectivo. Y eso no es todo. También habrá premios semanales durante toda la competencia. Además, el líder de los cuartos de final se lleva un paquete completo para armar su Watch Party. Participa directamente desde la app de Smart por solo 50 centavos por participación. Las predicciones estarán disponibles del 1 de junio al 18 de julio del 2026. No solo veas el mundial, vívelo con Smart. Smart, bring people together.
When speed matters, every second counts. Get ahead with ExpressNet. Fast, reliable, ready when you are.
Gather your friends and watch the World Cup at Lamanai Riverside Retreat. Every game, every goal, every day, watch the world's biggest football celebration right here at Lamanai Riverside Retreat.
As we told you yesterday, Belize has taken a significant step toward improving the safety and well-being of its children with the official launch of the Child Protection and Child Justice Steering Committee, the CPJSC, who aims to strengthen child protection and child justice systems across the country. The newly formed committees brings together representatives from government ministries and departments, the judiciary, law enforcement, civil society organizations, and development partners under a single framework designed to improve coordination, accountability, and national action on issues affecting children. The move follows a comprehensive review of Belize's child protection system, which highlighted the need for stronger collaboration among agencies responsible for preventing and responsible to child abuse, neglect, violence, and exploitation. With that in mind, the Ministry of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs, in collaboration with the National Commission for Families and Children, the NCFC, the Judiciary of Belize, UNICEF, and with the support of the Office of the Attorney General, established the CPJSC. Yesterday, Ministry of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs, Honorable Tia Garcia Ramirez, described the committee as more than just another coordinating body, saying it represents the government's commitment to ensuring that all institutions responsible for safeguarding children work together more effectively. But what role does the Attorney General's ministry play when it comes to the child justice? The AG explains.
There are various areas that they will be targeting, and one of the things that they'll be doing is that they're providing to the government certain recommendations with respect to policies that need to be revamped, that need to be tweaked, and a part of the membership on this committee includes the Attorney General's ministry, and so that helps in terms of ensuring that in a more timely manner we'll be able to have legislation which touch and concern families and children, that those are able to be addressed. And again, in a more timely manner, we'll be able to have the concerns and the needs with respect to the judiciary, and specifically to your question, cases that address children, that those could be addressed in a more timely and an effective manner.
The committee will be chaired by Justice Natalie Dixon, who underscored the important role in promoting a child-friendly justice system.
As you would know that we are in the process of amending a number of traffic laws, and we're also in the process of distributing a number of equipment to our officers across the country for them to be able to discharge their duties in a more efficient way. And so the training was basically geared towards sensitizing the officers of the different pieces of legislations that are coming, as well as to teach them how to
The work of the committee will center on 5 strategic priorities: enhancing the national protection framework, modernizing the child justice system, expanding prevention and early intervention initiatives, improving data collection and accountability, and strengthening the workforce that provides services to children. The Department of Transport today recognized 35 traffic enforcement officers who successfully completed this second cohort of the Interagency Traffic Enforcement Capacity Building Program during a graduation ceremony. The program was created to strengthen the skills, knowledge, and operational readiness of officers responsible for enforcing Belize's traffic laws. Through a series of specialized training modules, participants received practical instruction designed to improve traffic enforcement and promote safer roads across the country. The training covered key areas such as updating traffic legislation, investigative procedures, the proper use of enforcement tools, including breathalyzers, and other modern policy techniques. By bringing officers from multiple agencies together, the program also encourages stronger cooperation and a more coordinated approach to road safety.
As you would know that we are in the process of amending a number of traffic laws, and we're also in the process of distributing a number of equipment to our officers across the country for them to be able to discharge their duties in a more efficient way. And so the training was basically geared towards sensitizing the officers of the different pieces of legislations that are coming, as well as to teach them how to the effects of the different equipment, i.e. body cam, dash cam, and the likes that they will be using now in the performance of their duties. And so we had myself, the CTO, and Mr. Sambola, and other lecturers who did lecture on different subject area, including the power of arrest, making sure that the officers are fully in tune with the rules that governs an arrest. We don't want to have situations where officers are out there performing their duties, put together a good case file, and when time comes, the matter would fall through the courts because they do not follow the proper process in effecting the arrest. So basically the training was for that. Again, training for us is important The minister has been stressing over and over the importance of making sure that we empower our people with knowledge so that they can be out there and discharge their duties the way they should. We cannot just give people uniform and tell them to go out and do our work without telling them what the work entails and how to do it. And that's the reason why we have been pressing on training.
Well, the design of this course is a short course. It's catered specifically to looking at producing the case files based on samples, urine samples, as well as the breathalyzer, and for the use of the digital, the dash cams and the body cams. Well, one of the reasons why we employ that our officers use the body cams is for the trust in the public, to emphasize the idea that the interaction between them is also being monitored, the idea that the officers are trained to carry out that specific function in dealing with the public is one of the main reasons for this type of training.
Training sessions were facilitated by experts from the Department of Transport, the Bureau of Standards, and Caribbean Forensic Services, who shared their expertise throughout the program. The Interagency Traffic Enforcement Capacity Building Program is a joint initiative of the Ministry of Transport, the Department of Transport, and the Federación Internacional de Automóvil (FIA) through the Belize Automobile Touring Association, BATA. 2 more foreign jurists could soon be appointed to the High Court, following recommendations now under consideration by the government of Belize. The memorandum reportedly recommends the appointment of Guyanese attorney Sheniza Smith to the High Court bench, with her tenure scheduled to begin on September 1st, 2026. It also recommends Trinidadian attorney Peter Carter for appointment with an effective date of September 15th, 2026. The proposed appointments have drawn attention after it emerged that 2 Belizean candidates who had applied for the positions, Registrar Trenia Young and former Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser, were not shortlisted during the selection process. Speaking on the matter, Attorney General Anthony Sylvester said that despite the memorandum circulating publicly, no appointments have been finalized. He stressed that the constitutional process is still underway and that the recommendations have not yet resulted in formal appointments. How do I say that?
Firstly, so there has not been any formal appointment of any judges. So as part of the process, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, they engage in their process. They're a separate body, separate from government, separate from any other entity. So they're the ones that does the reviewing of applications, reviewing of CVs, interviews, etc. They would make a recommendation with respect to whether who are the successful applicants. Once that recommendation is received, that recommendation is onward, is submitted to the Office of the Prime Minister. The Office of the Prime Minister would submit to the Leader of the Opposition to request, in this particular case, the Honorable Chase Panton, her views on the matter. As things currently stand, she has written to the government and she is requesting certain information. So the process is still ongoing, and no final determination has been made on that matter as yet.
So when it comes to Shenizia Smith, I believe was the name that was called. It's not official as yet.
No official decision has been made. I'm not quite sure how that information came about, and as somebody had pointed out, I think the Leader of Opposition herself had expressed consternation, surprised that when perhaps maybe she wasn't consulted. But no decision has been made because the process is still ongoing with respect to, at this point in time, the Leader of the Opposition being engaged and being consulted.
A proposed nationwide motorcycle training and certification requirement has been put on hold as the government reassesses how the program will be rolled out and funded. The Ministry of Transport has temporarily paused plans to introduce a mandatory 2-week motorcycle training course after concerns were raised about the estimated $300 cost to participants. The proposal sparked public criticism, with many questioning whether the fee would place an unfair financial burden on riders. In response, Prime Minister John Briceño and Cabinet stepped in to review the initiative before it is implemented. The government is now exploring the possibility of subsidizing the program to make it more affordable for motorcyclists while maintaining its road safety objectives. According to CEO in the Ministry of Transport, Chester Williams.
That is a cabinet decision. We're trying to see how we can find a way to deal with it without having to do it as complex as it were. So it's a matter that we're trying to see how we can deal with.
I know that even when you were Kampala, you used to always speak about two persons driving on a motorcycle, especially when it comes to being an accessory in crime. Would you be able to comment on it further with what you've witnessed in recent months happening with the crime? No.
I wouldn't want to comment on that much. Like I said on my post on social media, that's my personal opinion. Not something I've discussed with my minister or not something I've tried to put in a cabinet paper. It's just how I feel that oftentimes as a society we cry foul, we try to blame the government, we try to blame the police. But when the government or the police try to do something to be able to quell the issues that we're faced with, we again bash them for doing whatever they're trying to do to make the matter go away. So that was my personal opinion.
The mandatory certification program was originally promoted by Transport Chief Executive Officer Chester Williams as part of a broader effort to reduce the growing number of motorcycle-related fatalities across the country. There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Today will be the inauguration of the backup water system. This will be able to assist the Pomona Water Board to expand, and if they get breakdown with the current system, this can also be a backup. There are times when, especially in the dry season, when the current system might run low or might run dry, and that by itself creates a problem to fetch water. So we are hopeful that if this is not used as much right now, when the other system runs low, this will kick in.
We must ensure that people have access to clean, safe, potable water, just like everybody else across this country. What you see here today is an investment of over $160,000. It includes all the pipes that you see here. We also have other accessories. We have a backup generator. We have the solar system. And we also have a booster pump.
The most difficult part that hinders development is the access of water. We have reduced significantly the amount of people that were deprived from accessing a basic need such as water.
I am elated, very happy to be here, receiving the system. I think everybody would be very happy, very happy.
When we call it, we have no water, no nothing. That was an empty spot, but it's home now. They have a pipe right out there, so it's still okay, just that we had to reach up to get the water. I cannot wait to have it reach to our door.
There's going to be 5 modules that we will be looking at. The first one would be the duties of traffic wardens, power of arrest, and the legislative amendments as it relates to DUI. The second module looks at report writing, and then we look at motorcycle helmets and its standards. On Wednesday, we'd look at the proper use of breathalyzers, and then we'll do some training related to that. On Thursday, we then look at electronic evidence as it relates to the changes in legislation. and the use of the body cams and dash cams. And on Friday, of course, we'll be doing a simulation on a case file preparation.
Please remember, the rules are there for a reason. The regulations are there for a reason. It's not to bypass them. It's to ensure that you protect the citizens of Belize.
We're not here to just teach you. We're also here to learn from you. You are the ones who are on the streets every day doing traffic enforcements. So you know what are the issues that affects you and should be able to guide us so that we can correct those issues.
At the beginning, it was a bit challenging because it sounded so good and so promising that I think people were reluctant in embracing the idea. But after 2 years in this NHI program, the perception of people and the usage of people for the services that we offer is very much appreciated. And the people are using all the services that we have. And our population has grown a lot. We actually have registered, which by the way, I have to mention this, we never expected to grow this fast. We are at 12,000 and plus registered patients with us right now. And the numbers are growing on a daily basis, I would say. For the general physicians and the specialists that include the gynecologist, the pediatrician, and the internist. And now we have a nutritionist, it's $2, which is very accessible to people. And when it comes to the laboratory or the images, it's just a 10% cost that they pay for the whole service that is offered. If we have a healthy community, then I would say that the whole country itself is going to benefit from it, because a healthy community is going to be successful economically as a whole. That is my vision of the NHI. Its service, its purpose.
Belize's rich culture, traditions, and national achievements are now being showcased through the country's latest definitive stamp collection. The Belize Postal Service officially launches its new definitive stamp issued titled Celebrating Belize during a ceremony held this morning. Unlike commemorative stamps, definitive stamps are the standard postage stamps used for everyday mail and remained in circulation for an extended period. The new collection features 11 stamps with denominations ranging from 40 cents to $20. Each design highlights a unique aspect of Belize's identity, celebrating the nation's people, culture, sporting achievements, and long-standing traditions. The highest value stamp, the $20 denomination, titled The Colors of Celebration, features a vibrant photograph by Belizean photographer Jose Sanchez, capturing a carnival reveler in a full costume. Speaking at the launch, Minister of Public Utilities Michael Chabat said the new stamp series reflects the diversity, heritage, and achievements that define Belize while celebrating the people and traditions that continue to shape the country's national identity. The remaining stamps showcase a diverse range of national events and symbols, including the reigning Queen of the Bay, the La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge, the Belize Under-23 Women's National Volleyball Team following its 2025 Avicavol Central American Championship victory, the National Agriculture and Trade Show, Panyad, children visiting the Danwiga Post Office during Child Stimulation Month, the Holy Saturday Cross Country Cycling Classic, the People's United Party's 75th anniversary, Bencaveo del Carmen's colorful sawdust tapestries, and Wesley College students participating in the annual uniform parade.
Falls under my ministry. So the post office falls under my ministry. It falls under the logistic portfolio. And every 5 years, we have a new set of stamps that we produce for circulation across the country and abroad, obviously. And the theme they selected this year was an amazing one, celebrating Belize. And as you can see from these 11 stamps that they selected, it really depicts every aspect of our culture and our country and our events. And so it is important for us as a ministry and as a government to be able to support these things, which these stamps serve as ambassadors across the world for us. So it's an important event. Yes, I mean, it gives you a sense of pride. I mean, from the Ruta Maya to the tapestry, to the kids. I mean, it really depicts life across Belize and how we interact and how we live. And as you can see them, the very bright colors really lightens up. And especially now where you need some bright light, I think this is a bright light.
Okay, and in order for these stamps to truly be appreciated, we need a functioning and well-funded postal service, you know, for them to run. So are there any improvements coming to our postal service?
You know, the Postal Service is probably one of the oldest government institutions in this country. And with the digital age, a lot of the traction it used to have has really slowed down. But what we're doing in the post office, we're moving to the digital age. We're moving to a stage where people can track their mail, can track their parcels digitally. They've also introduced a one-day parcel delivery to compete with the other couriers. And so we're trying to innovate. Shortly, along with the UPU, we're going to be creating hubs within the post office where people can do their electronic applications, birth certificates, passport applications, all the government services you're going to be able to access through the post office. As well, we're creating a portal at the post office for MSMEs, for small business, small and micro businesses, so that they may not have at home the tools that they need to promote their businesses. We are creating this through the post offices.
Has approved a series of major legislative and policy initiatives aimed at modernizing Belize's education system, strengthening public institutions, enhancing regional security cooperation, and improving disaster preparedness. Among the most significant decisions was Cabinet's approval for the introduction of legislation to repeal the current Education and Training Act and replace it with a modern legislative framework designed to meet the present and future needs of Belize's education system. The reform will also include the introduction of a new Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET bill, which will establish updated provisions for the development, regulation, and expansion of Belize's technical and vocational education sector. Cabinet also approved the establishment of a regional forensic science center in Belize. The initiative is intended to strengthen criminal investigations by providing reliable, independent, and sustainable forensic services while positioning Belize to support fellow CARICOM member states with advanced forensic laboratory capabilities. In another significant move, Cabinet approved amendments to the Millennium Challenge Account, Belize Authority Bill, to facilitate the ratification of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the MCC, Belize Compact, and the Program Implementation Agreement. The amendments are expected to support the implementation of key development projects under the MCC partnership. Cabinet further approved legislation to modernize the regulation of veterinary practice in Belize by replacing the outdated Veterinary Surgeons Act with a new law that will establish a clearer, more comprehensive, and contemporary regulatory framework for the profession. On matters of regional trade, Cabinet approved amendments to the first schedule of the Customs and Excise Duties Act to implement the revised Common External Tariff following its approval by the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED. The changes will align Belize's tariff structure with regional trade commitments under CARICOM. Cabinet also received an update from the Minister responsible for disaster risk management, Honorable Henry Charles Usher, on flooding caused by recent heavy rainfall associated with a tropical system that passed over Belize. The minister reported that the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, has deployed personnel to affected communities in the western and southern regions of the country to assist residents impacted by the flooding. He added that NEMO continues to work closely with relevant authorities to conduct damage assessments and remains prepared to respond to any additional needs as the situation develops. Concluding its meeting, Cabinet extended congratulations to Belize's national men's volleyball team on capturing the gold medal at the Africa Vol Men's Championship, recognizing the team's outstanding achievement and contribution to national pride. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, July 20th, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3news.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3 Belize News. Or you can visit our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3, have a safe and blessed weekend. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a